Welcome to Cinemadness. Hello. I think this is episode 9?
10.
10! Episode 10 of our quarantine. Whew, 10
or
weeks
is it
of
9?
doing this.
It is
Huh?
9.
It's 9.
Oh, 9. Okay, so I was right and Adam was wrong. Mark that one off your bingo card. So good evening. And I am here with Roman.
They're eating them, and then they're going to eat me.
Yes, and now I'm also with Adam.
Oh my God!
Really?
That was a joint quote.
Okay. I doubt that anybody knows what our movie quotes are from tonight, but I don't know. Maybe they will.
I don't know.
How are you guys? Huh?
Given our fan base, they probably do know.
Maybe.
Yes.
They better know.
Hopefully they'll tell us how much we misquoted that very quickly. So if you know what it was, please, at the comments below, let us know. Or if you listen to us on iTunes and the other aspects, hit us up, let us know. Just saying. We'll always quote what you want us to quote if you like us enough. Just saying. So, Alison, what are we doing today?
Oh, so you want me to be like you where I list off all the things we're going to do? I was just going to wing it.
Okay, well, wing it. This is your wing tech.
Here's the thing. Every week we kind of do the same thing. So if people have seen us, they should know. So first, we'll talk either movie news or reviews, and then I'm sure we'll have some fun-filled game that you created, and then we'll probably take a break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll have our meaty discussion. What are you doing with your hand?
I was going over the list.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
And meaty
Awesome.
got me a little excited there.
Our meaty discussion.
I open the window and he gets excited, folks. Not going to lie. Yeah.
Sure, I'm
wind-sensitive. So I believe we're hitting the movie news today. Is that correct?
Sure. What you got?
Well, we posted on our Facebook and also on our Twitter accounts, basically different news that were going on. And one thing that perked our interest, at least one of us, was Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell are actually teaming up together to make a Christmas Carol. Yes, young lady Alison.
Yes. When you say it perked one of our interests, are you referring to moi?
No, I'm referring to you.
Voo and Voo's nipples.
Moi. a la Miss Piggy. I mean, it didn't perk my interest, but you just saying his name perks my interest, but the whole thought of it doesn't really perk my interest.
I mean, right now, Ryan Reynolds, in my opinion, is everything he's doing is essentially Deadpool. He's doing the quips, he's doing the smart aleck comments, he's doing the body language. Everything he's doing is Deadpool. So why not have Deadpool do a Christmas Carol? Why not?
Well, and you hate A Christmas Carol, so I feel like this is you're like, anything can be better than the movie.
Me?
Oh, wait.
You're thinking of
I'm
Christmas
sorry.
Story.
I was getting that confused with A Christmas Story. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, no, one's
this is Scrooge and Cratchit and
yeah,
garbage that doesn't deserve to be mentioned ever.
Okay.
And one is a classic, written by Charles Dickens.
Then I changed my mind a little bit. I don't care about A Christmas Carol. I mean, how many times are we going to redo A Christmas Carol? But okay, I guess the two of them could make it a little funny. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again with Scrooge. We've seen it with Muppets. We've seen it with
creepy CGI.
Yeah. Creepy CGI. We've seen it with Vanessa Williams. We've seen it with various different variations. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get better than Scrooged. So, I mean, you can try. Maybe they're going to try and go down that route, and they probably will be successful. So that's fine. Quick Ryan Reynolds news. Sorry, and it's TV related, but
brought to you by Tiger Beat.
I was flipping through Hulu, and there is a new game show called Don't, and it is created and produced by Ryan and Adam Scott. And Adam Scott is the host, and we all know Adam, if you know Adam from Parks and Rec, everything. He's very dry humor. So hi. not you, Adam. He's very dry. So he's really good host. But oh my God, Ryan Reynolds, he's like the voice of the show in the background. He does his quirky little things. It's hilarious. So everybody should watch it, not just because I'm a fan, but if you like his humor and what he's been doing, like you said lately, the Deadpool stuff, and he's just poking fun at things. It's really funny. So you should watch it on Hulu.
Okay.
Brought to you by Hulu.
Yes. Another bit of two more things on movie news, and then we'll move on to our movie reviews. One thing of positive, I personally find is positive. They have a young lady. She's not really that young. Adam told me in our pre-production meeting. She is now going to be a part of the Academy. Adam, help me out with the name, please.
What?
The
you guys were talking about it. I don't know shit that's going on.
Her name is Ava, and I think it's pronounced Dufresne.
Ava Dufresne. So
like
Ava
Shawshank?
Like what?
Like from Shawshank?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember where I know her from, but go ahead. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, basically, there was something that we posted on our Facebook where she's actually going to be a part of the Academy, which I think is very important. I am a huge advocate and a huge fan of diversity. Anything that we can do to get other voices and other viewpoints involved in any decision would be awesome, just because, especially if you're representing something as diverse as the United States or America, we're more than just, we are Baskin Robbins. We're 31 has flavors and then some.
I pronounced it wrong. It's Ava DuVernay, Duvernay. She is
So not like Shawshank.
No, sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, Ava. She produced that show, or she produced 13th, which is on Netflix right now. It's really interesting. I think she produced Selma.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, she's just done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see where that comes in and how that
I remember. I know where I've seen her name. She was the director of A Wrinkle in Time. I mean, that movie was not good, so I'm not going to hold that against her. But she was the director of that.
I watched a lot of behind the scenes on that because that was basically all they did with the trailers, and she seemed like a pretty badass director.
Yeah.
Okay. Something else, I know I said two more, and that was one of the two, but I'm also adding one more in. The MTV Movie Awards, unfortunately, has been canceled indefinitely. I know. You know what? I am just going to be wondering this whole time, who will win the best kiss?
Yeah. I didn't know that was still a thing until I think I don't know. I think I saw it on reruns on Pluto. I think I saw 2 years ago. They not only have Best Kiss anymore, they have Best Cat Fight and Best Put Down, and it's just ridiculous.
But they have Best Bromance and
yeah, I mean it's a hot mess. And if you see the people in the audience, they're the winners because only the winners show up. It's not like the Oscars where it's great to be nominated. So yeah, I didn't think that was still a thing. So
I didn't think either, to be honest with you. When I found it on the movie news area, I was shocked, to be honest with you. I'm like, wow, they're still doing that. I haven't heard any. This is probably the most that we have talked about it in the 2 years of knowing the three of you. I've obviously known you, Alison, for longer than that. But
well, that's because we're under the age of 25. So that's not no. But
yeah,
why is it indefinitely? I understand you not having it this year, but why would you cancel it permanently if it is bringing in viewers? It's not like you're going to cancel every award show.
Is it bringing in viewers?
I don't know.
Okay, so you just said because we're under 25. Well, whenever I interact with
we're over 25, by the way.
Yeah. Whenever I interact with my sister-in-laws who are under the age of 25, okay, never once have I heard them go, "Oh man, did you check out the MTV Movie Awards last night? Oh man, hey, Rome, please don't text me right now because I'm watching the MTV Movie Awards. Hey, Rome, can you real quick drop me off at the house because me and my girlfriends are going to watch MTV Movie Awards. Now, I don't know, back in the day, like when I was 14, that was a big thing.
It was.
Like I remember, hanging out with my friends. We watched it with popcorn. We were talking about it. It was a to-do.
It was the punk rock Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same as the MTV Music Awards. I mean, the VMAs, I would like record it if I wasn't watching it live with friends at my house. Like that was a big deal. I just don't think people really, I don't know if people even watch MTV anymore. Maybe they watch like the clips on TikTok or something. TikTok.
Is that the Italian TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah. The TikTok. Scusi. I personally miss videos on MTV. You know, what does the M in MTV stand for?
Now what does it stand for? I don't know.
Exactly. I every so often, like, I'll be shocked when I see like some actual non-reality show on MTV, and then it's canceled and they bring back a new reality show.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
I missed 120 minutes.
Oh yeah, that was. See, we could go on to that, but we're not. You know,
We're not TV.
Yeah, TV madness. We are, of course, Cinemadness. So last bit of interest, and this is actually probably going to be coming back to our movie reviews, maybe not, shortly. But a movie released by Netflix got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Womp womp.
Yes, that was The Last Days of Crime, which one of us unfortunately lost a bet and had to watch it. So we'll find out who had to watch it and whether or not he agrees.
You didn't have to watch it.
Yeah.
No one forced you to watch it. I just posted it online that I was not it.
Yeah. Well, but we'll talk more about that because our theme today, as I believe Alison has stated, but if not, what's our theme again?
I did not state it.
No, she didn't.
It's B movies, not to be confused with honeybee movies or like insect movies, but the letter B. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter B.
Okay.
So no My Girl talk.
Movies. And if you don't know what a B movie is, we'll explain it later, but we'll explain it really quickly because we know you're not idiots.
So speaking of movies, though, let's go ahead and move into our movie reviews. I believe, Adam, you got 2. Alison, you got 1. And the good-looking guy over here has 1 as well. So I'm going to go last, if that's cool with everybody, right?
Yeah, Adam, you go 1, and I'll go and then go back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to do 2.
I didn't have to. I just really need to talk about one, and I need to talk about both of them actually.
All right.
Let me go with the most polarizing one. I watched King of Staten Island.
Okay.
It was Pete Davidson's and Judd Apatow's movie, basically telling the story of Pete Davidson's real life dad who died in 9/11 as a firefighter. But it's not really biographical. It's more of him playing a character that had this same thing happen to him. I want to preface this by saying I only enjoy 2 things about Pete Davidson. I enjoy stand-up, and I enjoy Chad on SNL. Everything else I can't stand. He's uglier than Norman Reedus. He has no talent whatsoever when he's acting. The only good thing Pete Davidson does is play himself. And unfortunately, he didn't play himself very much in the movie.
Okay.
What's funny is I wrote this entire review trying to not bash the movie, but tell how much I didn't enjoy it. And after writing this and watching clips and stuff that I was going over to try to get everything right, I started to enjoy the movie more. I wanted to hate it. I wanted to hate it more because I don't like Pete Davidson, but I started coming around to the movie. Now I want to get to the negatives. It was 2 hours and 16 minutes long. That is way too long for both Judd Apatow or Pete Davidson to be on your television.
Holy crap! That's got to be the longest Apatow movie ever.
I think it didn't get cut down because it wasn't going to be released in theaters, so they could keep it longer. But there's
sure, let's keep it longer. No one's going to care at their home.
There's way too many plot
No one
points.
has to try.
It's a very story-driven movie, but there's too much. There's a love interest. There's a family dynamic. There's the whole neighborhood thing because it's all about people on Staten Island being Staten Island. If you don't like New York accents, you're going to hate this movie because this is Staten Island. It's basically Impractical Jokers without the funny. It's a very heavy movie. It's a dark, heavy movie. He deals the main. I'm just going to call him Pete. He's named Scott after his dad, but it's easier just to call him Pete. Pete is a budding tattoo artist who he's very quirky because he's Pete Davidson. But he's also very, very warm-hearted, and he loves everybody in the neighborhood, and everybody in the neighborhood loves him. But it's hard for him to go on with life. It's his character is just terrible. He tries to be funny at one point, and then and at some point he tries to be suicidal, and then another point he's happy-go-lucky with his friends, and then he's driven, but at the same time he gives up on life, and it's just the character is a real mess.
So it's him. It's
yeah,
him
I know.
in real life.
I know, but another thing that bothered me was there was barely any music. There's hardly any score. The one scene that's in the trailer where they're all singing the Wallflowers song, that was basically the only really good music part of the movie. Bill Burr was in the movie, and he was basically the best part of the whole movie. He was not playing Bill Burr. He was not playing this angry New York, I hate everything. He was playing his Pete's mom's love interest, who is also friends with his dad when he was a firefighter, and he's still a firefighter. And it was the dynamic between Pete and Bill Burr was very good. They get along so well. I mean, of course they didn't get along right away. Pete makes fun of him because he's got this huge mustache, which is really funny. But when Pete decides that he wants to learn about firefighting and maybe one day become a firefighter, he does ride-alongs with him. He washes the station and all this stuff, and they really become close. In fact, Bill Burr turns his back into Pete's practice for his tattooing. He's like, as long as I don't get to see it, you don't do anything stupid, you can practice on me. And I thought that was like one of the most heartwarming things in the movie. I'm like, this guy is like giving you his back to do art on, just to make your art better. And he was the best thing about the movie. It's a New York movie, and it's about firefighters, so of course Steve Buscemi shows up. He's in it. He's not in it very long. There needed to be more of him. Out of the 2 hours and 16 minutes, the most entertaining stuff was maybe 5 to 6 minutes long. In fact, there's a video I found online that is called "The Best of King of Staten Island." It's only 3 minutes long, and it's really all the good stuff in the movie. Like I said, I wanted to hate it more than I did. But the more I talk about it and the more I think about it and the more I watched and did research on it, I liked it more. I don't think I'll watch it again. It's way too long. And so I give it a B-, maybe B-, C+.
Okay. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Alison, we'll go back to you.
Oh, okay. So, well, this can be like a joint review because apparently you told me you watched this movie too. So,
yeah.
I watched Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus. I convinced my 5-year-old to watch it. Okay, so Artemis Fowl. It's apparent. Okay, going into this, the only thing that I ever knew about this is the previews that I've seen, and this movie was supposed to come out years ago, and it was the victim, I guess you could say, of part of the Weinstein debacle. It was put on pause during that. They had to reshoot and reproduce all this stuff in it. They had to add one of the characters. All of his shots and scenes had to be redone and put in there. So it was like supposed to come out years ago. I've never read the books. Apparently it's like a book series that's beloved, like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. So I went in completely blind in this movie. I know that it came out on Disney Plus. The movie was an hour and 36 minutes long, and I felt, and not just because I had to pause it every now and then for my kid to go pee, I felt that it was 2.5 to 3 hours long. I don't know where my life went, where my night went for this movie, but when I saw it was over, and I was like, that was only an hour and 36 minutes? Holy crap. I will say this, the movie, well, basically the movie is about this kid, this rich kid named Artemis Fowl Jr. His father is missing. His father is played by Colin Farrell. He is this big, I guess he kind of like, he's like, I don't want to say he's an adventure guy, but he kind of steals things. And the whole time Artemis has been growing up, he teaches him about fairies and trolls and goblins and how all of these fairy tales that we've been told as children is real. And one day when Artemis is ready, you know, they're going to come back and this is what you do. And so far, am I right in what
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. So his dad, Colin Farrell, Artemis Sr., gets taken by a fairy person, held hostage. She wants this device, Oculus, I think they kept calling it, the Oculus. She wants this Oculus for herself, and the fairy people keep it. Okay, so so Artemis has to figure out how to get his dad back, and he goes through all of his dad's books and tries to, blah, 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 find out where these fairy people live. He kidnaps a fairy, and then the trolls get involved, and then, okay, so back up. Josh Gad, I'm sorry, this review is a mess because I was completely confused by this movie. Josh Gad is probably the best part of the movie. I love Josh Gad. He's really popular because he's Olaf. I almost called him Gandalf. He's Olaf and kids love him. I think he's hysterical. I love Josh Gad. He was the best part of this movie. He was a troll, but he was a huge giant troll. No, he wasn't a troll. He was a dwarf. Sorry, he was a dwarf. And they're like, you're not a dwarf. He's like, no, I am. He's like really big. He was
he's like Hagrid.
Yeah, he did look like Hagrid, and he was in jail, and he was basically telling the story to us as the viewer. Dame Judi Dench played the head of the fairy people, which apparently, because I did a lot of research after this movie, that's supposed to be a fat guy that smokes cigars, but you hired Judi Dench, who was brilliant, and she was completely flat in this movie. There was a centaur running around with the fairy people making horse jokes and neighed every now and then. What? Colin Farrell, I mean, he might as well not have been there. And apparently they had to add him. I guess he's not really in the book, and they had to shoot all of his scenes and add him. So from what I'm reading, people that love these books this is why this movie has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. They are furious that it is nothing remotely like the book, which we all know that pisses me off. You can change it for the movie, but the reason Harry Potter was so popular is because it followed the book. Apparently they added so many things. Artemis doesn't, wear a suit. He wasn't friends with the fairy people. I could go on and on. There's a butler guy that only goes by the name Butler, and apparently he doesn't get hurt in the book, and he got hurt in this movie. The movie is a hot mess. I kept saying, I don't know what's going on. I couldn't connect with the characters. I was very confused about all the little time travel they did. When you have a kid's movie like this, where your main guy, AKA Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, you should feel something for this character. You should cheer them on. You should feel empathy. You should think that they're funny. You should want to root them on. I felt nothing for this kid, and I don't think it was his fault. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think that the script and the character was complete garbage. The only thing I can remotely say good about this movie is it was a beautiful film. Kenneth Branagh, I can never pronounce his name. Branagh. He directed it. I think he's usually a really good director. It was pretty to look at. Other than that, I was completely confused.
Okay. I 100% disagree.
Okay.
It was absolute fun from beginning point to the end point. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the scenery. I enjoyed basically the cast itself, filled with fairies, filled with centaurs. Imagine, if you will, Onward or the characters from Bright, and put them in this film with Richie Rich. That's kind of what you saw in terms of the characters. The main character of Artemis Fowl. Now, backtracking a little bit, I've never read the books. Didn't even know the book existed. I used to work at Walden Books back in the day, and I didn't know this book existed. So that shows you how very, very good I was at my job.
In case you were wondering, Walden Books was a store in the mall. Now, a mall is this indoor thing that people used to shop at, and they had stores in them. Sorry, that was my Roman imitation.
Oh, okay. You sound 10 times better than I do. I usually sound nasally.
Yes,
anyway,
tone, tenor voice.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I had your sexy voice. Not going to lie. Anyway, so to backtrack to my review, because I know we only have so much time, so we may take a brief break and then get into the rest of the reviews. But the film itself, I thought, was very enduring. I thought it made a lot of great points in terms of class, in terms of helping getting the truth out there and fighting for something that is accurate and true, not just what you're being told. I thought there were some very deep and fun messages. I thought it was an absolute fun film. I enjoyed Josh Gad's character. I didn't realize that was Josh Gad. I thought it was another actor who I also enjoy. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't realize until just now when I told you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who did you think it was?
Yeah. I don't want to embarrass myself because I don't know the character's name, but he's been in different... Huh?
Too late.
You can say it. I have no idea who the actor is, but he's the heavyset actor from, I want to say it was, oh my heavens. The War of the Planet of the Apes. The heavyset guy who works with Planet of the Apes, who won the Apes eventually killed.
No, the main guy who does the movements.
Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
We can talk about more. No,
Gollum?
neither one of those guys. We can talk about more. But anyways, to digress. I thought it was an absolutely fun film. I liked how it introduced the mythical characters in a different light. There was a movie out there. I was trying to find the name of it. Madam Something Curiosities. Where it showed these troll people that would only show up in certain light. It reminded me of that movie. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to multiple movies.
Not going to happen.
It sets up for movies.
It does. It absolutely sets up. I can guarantee you this movie is a huge bomb, and they're not going to make any more. And that might be sad because it might be better. I don't know, but it completely sets it up for a trilogy. You could go 8 movies probably like Harry Potter, but no, it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
It grabbed me more than Harry Potter ever has.
Okay, we're going to go on break now.
Yeah, that's
Holy
precisely.
crap, Adam, you have to watch this movie. You have to break the tie here.
Okay.
No, I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say.
Oh, man.
Well, I've never read the book either, so I would go in with fresh eyes. Did either of you watch the Percy Jackson movies?
I saw one.
I really liked those, so
as did I.
Yikes. Okay, well, that's going to explain some stuff. Disney Plus has also said that they're going to do more Percy Jackson in the form of series, which is good because the book series was fantastic, and it needs to be redone. But I will watch the movie, and I'll let you know.
So as far as grades, I'm assuming you're going to give it like a B+, A-.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you give it?
No, I give it a B+. Absolutely.
B+. Okay.
Yeah, just shy of A quality. I would have liked a couple more things, maybe a little bit more acting from. Oh my heavens! I forgot his name already. Jeez,
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. I would have liked a little bit more story, but because it's setting up for multiple movies, that leaves a little bit to be desired. I feel so. B+. I'm hoping that there's more to come because I'm invested. I find it very interesting.
Okay, I give it a D+. I don't want to be invested. I don't want any more of it unless somebody can explain to me what I watched, because I was very confused. And for me to be confused in a young adult book turned into movie, that's not good. So.
Okay.
But you know what? Carter watched it, and then the next day he woke up before we woke up, and he watched the whole thing again. What is with kids watching movies over and over and over and over and over again?
Do you not do that anymore?
Yeah.
Not the next day.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Did you not do that when you were a kid?
I don't know if I watched it the exact next day, like within 12 hours of just seeing it. I don't think.
I did that with Solo. I watched it as soon as it came out. I watched it maybe 3 times the day it came out.
No.
I've done that recently with The Mask of Leslie Vernon. I probably burned out my copy just because I was so interested in all the moving parts. The movie The Devil with the people in the elevator.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh man, there were so many moving parts because I was curious to see how they led into the characters. Once you knew how it ended, I wanted to see again. When I was a kid, I watched Sleeping Beauty 1,000 times, the cartoon. I watched Little Shop of Horrors 1,000 times.
Look, I've watched movies 1,000 times. he watched this movie within 10 hours of each other. That's weird to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
I also did that with Jurassic Park in the theater.
Huh?
What was that?
I did that with Jurassic Park in the theater.
Okay. Well, anyways.
I did that with Cable Guy in the theater.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, it's just me. It's just me that didn't get Artemis Fowl. It's just me that doesn't watch movies over and over again within 12 hours of each other. Let's move on.
But you have a really sexy voice.
I have a mug to prove it.
Yes.
All right, what did you watch? Oh, what is your second movie?
My second movie is so far arguably my favorite movie of 2020, which isn't saying a lot because there's not a lot of movies out there.
3.
Aw, rest in peace, Bad Boys 3. You were #1, but not anymore.
Well, I mean, it's still #1 at the box office. I watched a movie called Becky. It is not about some girl checking out some other girl's butt in a music video. It is about a 13-year-old girl named Becky who is trying to survive an onslaught of escaped convicts who are also neo-Nazis, who are led by a non-comedic Kevin James.
Huh.
Yes.
It is a very good movie. At first, I was like, oh, I don't like this character because Becky's this angsty, angry, quirky 13-year-old girl who wears weird things and does weird things and gets into a lot of trouble because she's 13. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those movies where she just has to run away and stuff. And then in the movie, she becomes one of the most badass characters I've ever seen. Joel McHale plays her father in the movie, and he's very useless as a character. Anyone could have played it. In fact, the only notable actor is the girl who played Becky, I forget her name. Her name's Lulu something. She was in The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay.
I don't know what else she was in, but she's a really good actor. Kevin James was good as a serious bad guy, but the problem is with having Kevin James as a bad guy, or having any type of comedic actor as a bad guy, with any type of thriller, there's a little bit of levity somewhere in the movie. There's a time where everyone gets to stop and have a break, or maybe just a tad bit of comedy. And when that happened with Kevin James, you go back. It goes back to Kevin James being the funny Kevin James for maybe even a fraction of a second, and it kind of takes you away from that. Oh, he's got Nazi tattoos all over him, and he's ready to kill anybody at any time. But aside from that, the movie was really well done. It was basically like The Strangers meets Home Alone, because Becky decides she's going to fight back, and she makes her own improvised weaponry and traps and stuff. And it's a really good movie that everybody needs to see. It was made by Redbox.
Okay.
Roman?
2 questions. Platform, it sounds like Redbox. Is that where you saw it?
I rented it on iTunes.
Okay.
It's just another one of those you have to rent to see, because it was supposed to be in the theaters.
It's not out on Redbox for like another week.
Yeah, you can.
Right.
So far you can rent. I rented it on iTunes for $6. But if you want to wait a week, you could probably get it for $2 on Redbox. They also has a streaming service.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question that I have: would you compare the female lead to the female lead in Hard Candy?
Oh yeah, to Ellen Page.
Yeah.
They are both really similar characters, except one, Ellen Page's character in Hard Candy was being, sexually predatorized.
Yeah,
that's not a real word, but and Becky was being actual predatorized, not actual physically, I guess you could say. I don't want to demean sexual predators or sexual predator victims. That's the word. That's what I was going through.
Well, because when you're talking about it, it sounded like almost line by line how I would describe Ellen Page's character in Hard Candy.
Yeah.
So that's the image that I have now. I have her like Ellen Page's character with Nazis, which is perfect.
It's kind of like that, except Becky was a very broken character at the beginning. She yelled and screamed a lot and was very very tweeny. The reason she was so angry, I forgot to throw this in here, that is recently that she lost her mom to cancer, and her dad was raising her, and she was still angry at the world to losing her mom. So that's kind of important in that aspect. And the difference between this and Hard Candy is Hard Candy took place in a house. This was like in a woods. There was a house involved, because the whole movie revolves around this house that has some kind of secret in the bottom, and the Nazi people were looking for this key, and they never really explained what the key's for, but she found the key and ran away, and that's where the whole chasing her around thing happens. There's when I posted that I watched it, there were two. I posted it with 2 words: eyeball and lawnmower, and that's really all I'm going to say about those, because those are the 2 greatest scenes in the movie. But I had a really good time watching this. I had multiple moments where you're just like, oh crap, and I really enjoyed that. It was just an enjoyable, gory, very gory movie. The gore was amazing. You wouldn't expect that either, and I just really enjoyed it.
So before we get to your grade, real quick, so what you're telling me is that trained Nazi soldiers can't overtake a 13-year-old.
They are not trained. They're escaped convicts, so they're all just Aryan Nation guys that got tattooed.
Oh, okay.
They didn't want to be someone's bitch.
I was going to say, no wonder they lost the Second World War.
In fact, one the second guy in command, the guy under Kevin James, is 7 foot something, big actor. I thought he was in Game of Thrones. He's not. He was a WWE wrestler. He was known as Kurgan. He also he's done a couple roles, nothing big, but he's this huge guy, and he's been beaten down by Kevin James' character, who looks like he's 4 feet tall, and they're standing next to each other, and they try to make Kevin James's character more menacing than he can make it, but fortunately enough, Becky holds her own throughout the movie, where you don't even notice that Kevin James doesn't play a very good bad guy.
I'm surprised you didn't recognize what other movies she's from. She's from Origin of Evil, the Ouija movie.
She was the and I did research on it too. She was the girl from the second Ouija movie, which was actually good.
She's a really good actress. You didn't watch Haunting of Hill House, did you, Roman?
Yes, I did. I liked it a lot.
She was the young girl, the young
version.
When they went back in time, she's got like these big eyes. Yeah, I really like her. She's good.
Yeah, I highly recommend this movie. I give it an A+ all the way.
Wow.
Even like, I mean, even though I complained a little bit about Kevin James' character, there's only so much you can do as a comedy actor to do a serious role. I mean, it took Robin Williams a few roles to be a good villain. So Kevin James, you're on your way.
Oh, I don't want Kevin James to be a villain. I love him. He can be a villain every now and then. Like, obviously I really want to see this movie, but no.
Oddly enough, you'll like him in the eyeball scene.
I'm excited about this lawnmower scene because I hope it lives up to a Sinister lawnmower scene, which is hands down one of the best lawnmower scenes ever.
Yeah, in fact, a friend of mine posted on Facebook, he said, I just watched Becky, and I had no idea my two favorite movies in the horror genre involved lawnmowers, and it was Becky and Sinister.
Sinister? That's funny.
Okay.
It's not really a horror movie, it's more of a thriller, but there is a lot of gore in the movie.
Well, on a side bit, the lawnmower scene in The Happening actually was pretty good as well.
There was no gore in
I
it.
liked it.
There was two Shyamalan movie references coming out of you tonight.
I know.
Pretty much.
I didn't know you were such a fan.
So that's
I didn't know either.
Man.
To be frank with you, I could have fun lampooning The Happening just because Mark Wahlberg's character, John Leguizamo was great in that film.
We could have a whole show about Shyamalan movies.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Wasn't going for the obvious joke on that one. But yeah, we could. Why not? Why don't we come out of the rain and talk about Shyamalan?
Wow.
How about, there you go. You're welcome. So let's go ahead and talk about my movie that I'm going to be reviewing. We touched on this earlier. It was a movie that got a 0 in Rotten Tomatoes, and that is The Last Days of American Crime. Now, Adam, my favorite comic book aficionado, this was based off of a graphic novel. Have you heard of this graphic novel?
I have not. But that doesn't change anything because I never heard of History of Violence. I never heard of Road to Perdition. I didn't hear of The Kitchen. So I'm more of a superhero guy.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't hear about the graphic novel. I kind of almost want to suspend a little bit of judgment until I read the graphic novel, perhaps, because if this movie is shot for shot basically what's represented on the graphic novel, then my hate for this film is not with the movie. Now my hate is with the graphic novel. And the people that read the graphic novel going, we got to make this piece of crap into a piece of crap in the film. The movie is The Last Days of American Crime, and there are some absolute positives that could really be brought out and be really awesome. A couple of quick points is it's a 2-hour and 20-minute film that should have been 90 minutes. It was way too long to get to where it was at. It's for those of you who've ever had a lap dance, it's like having a lap dance and not very good, but having to sit with that lap dance for 2 hours and 20 minutes. What would happen to you when that person got off? You would be sore, you'd be frustrated, and you would have a lack of money and probably a lack of time. And that's precisely how I felt when the film ended. Let me explain a little bit more about the film. Now, the film has a lot of potential. It is directed by Oliver Magnuson, and he's actually the director who directed Taken 2 and 3, and he had a couple other directorial credits to his name. The cast actually has a very good cast. It has Edgar Ramirez. He's been in some things that you might recall if you look him up. Off the top of my head, Clash of the Titans. Anna Brewster, whom I wasn't very familiar with. She plays the femme fatale type character. Michael Pitt, who I loved in Boardwalk Empire. He plays almost the Jared Leto type character who's completely batshit crazy, but he has a reason to be batshit crazy. And from District 9, Charlito Copley was in the film as well, but he might as well have not have been. It's a waste of his time and his acting chops and ability. This film it stems around a time where the government is, as an anti-terrorism, anti-crime policy, they implement this this device that is placed into your brain, or the signal that interacts with your brain that makes you not want to do crime ever again. So they let everybody know that this is going to be happening by X amount of date. So what happens is these characters want to have the last great American crime to really put themselves over the map.
Hence the name of the movie.
So it's like a purge.
It's like a reverse purge.
Kinda.
Well, you're saying they want to do all the crime before they can't do any crime.
Yeah, essentially. So
sounds like the purge.
Kind of similar. I can see that degree.
Is it like hard candy?
Yeah, if you take hard candy and make the pervert into money and make Ellen Page's character into Edgar Ramirez, and then have Ellen Page have sex 3 times with the femme fatale character, and then you have another character who's completely, and completely have a batshit crazy character interact with that character, absolutely like hard candy. Mm-hmm.
That sounds better than the movie.
I have one more thing I want to say. I just looked up the book, and it's written by Rick Remender, and he's actually one of my favorite modern comic book authors. So I'm kind of interested in reading it.
Yeah, when I was looking into this, getting ready for this review, the graphic novel looks good. It looks interesting. It looks very inspiring. But the characters themselves in the film, I don't know if it was bad writing. I don't know if it was bad directing. I don't know. The premise is very interesting. The premise, you could go some awesome ways with it. If you took the actual film and sliced it up, if I were given editorial rights, I could make it a very chewable film or digestible film in 90 minutes, because there's some awesome action sequences, but the acting itself, I didn't care about the characters. I was constantly watching my watch. You got 3 sex scenes, and it was okay, great. It was of quality of watching Paris Hilton having sex. There was really nothing.
It was in a black light, or it was in a night filter?
No. It really wasn't. And they used the sex scenes in such a way as, and I thought this was intelligent in my opinion. They used sex scenes to show dialogue in terms of how she was empowered the whole time during the sex scene. And I thought that was very interesting. And that's my interpretation of it. I thought it was a very interesting way that they use the sex scene to tell a story. So to that, I kind of give them credit for. There's some awesome action sequences, but all in all, I couldn't wait for this film to end. Do I feel that it was deserving of 0 on Rotten Tomatoes? No, because there are some positive aspects to take away from it. This was bad.
Any movie deserves a 0 because there has to be something you can
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
again, it's somebody's art, it's somebody's story, it's somebody acted, somebody, you know, people worked on a movie. You have to be able to come up with one little thing that's positive. So I don't understand how you give something a 0, but
Well, it's Rotten Tomatoes is just become terrible.
it is. And that movie is like, you know how if you go on Netflix now, it says like number 1 through 10 in the US right now. I think that's so funny because some of the movies on there are like really old. And I'm like, why is that number 9 or number 8? But that movie is getting so much buzz because it's 0% that it's getting a lot of views. So they're probably laughing like, haha, we're getting you to watch it. Some movie was like number 4 the other day. And I'm like, really? It
Gone
was
with
like,
the Wind.
No, it's not Gone.
Oh wait, no,
with the
that
Wind.
was iTunes. It's number 3 on iTunes right now.
Unbelievable. I bet you it's a bunch of millennials that are like, I've never even heard of this movie. Let me watch it.
Or Gen Z.
Or what?
Or Gen Z.
Aren't we Gen Z?
No, we're Gen X.
Oh.
Gen Z is the young people now, not millennials.
Oh, the young people, yes.
Technically, I'm millennials. You guys missed the boat, so I'm.
You're right,
technically a
and I
millennial.
shouldn't make fun of the millennial. I make fun of the early millennials. You're okay because I miss millennial by like 1 year, so it's
Yeah.
Gen Z people.
But yeah, I was trying to really dig a little bit deeper on why I didn't like the film. You know, I didn't want to just come up here and say it's crap because, like Alison stated, this is someone's passion. You know, someone worked hard on this. So in order for me to throw some daggers or throw some shade, as the kids would say, I want to make certain. I want to make certain that I'm doing it in such a way so that way it's at least understandable. The dialogue was flat. It was just the scenes were very. It seemed like this was the first draft of the script because some of the scenes had some potential, but just dig a little bit deeper, make the dialogue a little bit more streamlined. So again, I don't know if it was shot by shot on the graphic novel. I don't know if it was straight up from the graphic novel. So that way I'm kind of suspending the judgment a little bit until I read the graphic novel or get more information. But all in all, if I had to give you a grade, I would probably give it a D-. The reason why I'm not going full on F is because there were some very enjoyable action sequences. There were some interesting takes in terms of shots. The storyline itself, the plot was very good. Me trying to think along, I could think about 5 different ways that you go about it in more entertaining value. Perhaps this might come back in terms of maybe a television show. It could be very interesting.
Like The Purge.
Yeah, similar to The Purge. Yeah, it just...
Well, thank you for taking one for the team and watching that crap fest of a movie because I didn't even know what it was about, but I was like, no, I don't want to watch that.
Well, I'm going to read it tonight.
Oh, really? Oh, just like that? Okay, cool.
Yep. Gotta love the digital world.
Okay, well, shoot me a link afterwards, and I'll be happy to read it with you, and we could talk about it off subject. But those are reviews. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below, or by hitting us up on our various different social networks, which we'll talk more about shortly. But are we going to take a break and then play a game?
Yeah, let's take an actual break.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we'll see you when we come back for a game. What's our game? It's going to be, can you identify the B movie or porno title?
Yay.
Not a very
All right,
catchy
hurry up
name.
with the break. It's like 7:30.
What do you have? Do we have a life to go to? All right. We'll be back.
The stuff is a product of nature, a deadly living organism. It is addictive and destructive. It can overcome your mind and take over your body, and nothing can stop it.
No, don't eat that. I saw it moving in the refrigerator.
Here, Jason, take some.
There is something alive in there.
They're good for us, Jason. They kill the bad things inside us.
Tonight, America is in grave danger. So are you prepared to say on the air that you've actually seen people devoured by the stuff?
Oh, hell yes. And what's worse, I've seen what's left of them when the stuff gets through and comes back out.
Coming soon. For you, the stuff.
All right, and we're back.
Yes.
We're back. We're back at it with a game. Woo! Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So today's game will be, is it a B movie or a porno? Normally I have better titles. Unfortunately, I thought I'd just be straight in your face with it. No dodging. Just go ahead and take it like a shot.
Right in your face.
I like it.
Right in the face. So basically the movies that I will be giving you, I'm just going to give you the movie title. Whether or not, and it's your guys' job to decide whether or not it is. Adam, you okay over there, bud?
Yeah, my chair just gave away.
I just see you flailing, and I'm like, okay, all right. Someone like Artemis Fowl a little bit too much.
I love Artemis Fowl.
Yeah. But anyways, it's the German version of Artemis Fowl.
Artemis Fraubrücke.
Exactly. Anyways, so the films I selected off of Marie Claire.
Marie Claire?
Yep, that too.
That famous movie publication?
Yeah.
Marie Claire isn't a movie public. Never mind. Just keep going.
Joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. MarieClaire.com.
Or Mary Curie.
Yeah. Released a list early on this year called the 41 Greatest Plots in Porn. So 41 movies they selected, so I used that. Also for the B movies, I selected off of PaceMagazine.com. They had the 100 greatest B movies of all time. So the game's pretty simple. It goes like this. If I say Debbie Does Dallas, you'll say?
Porno.
Exactly. If I say Leprechaun, you'll say?
Porno.
B movie is what I was looking for. So
Friends prequel.
Yes. So I have a feeling this might be the game that the house, me, will win because I don't have too much faith in you guys.
Leprechaun could be a porno because you know how he really likes shoes? Like she could like throw her high heels and he'd have to stop and clean them, and it could be
played by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's another market for it. Who knows? Maybe it'll come out right in your face and take it. But
I have a helper with me tonight. Riley's going to help me play tonight.
Oh, hi, Riley.
Riley.
So
I like guessing games. That's Riley's voice.
Okay.
I love Riley's voice.
So if you get the question right, it's 1,000 points. If you get it wrong, if no one gets it correct, the house, i.e. myself, will get 1,000 points. The person with the most points at the end of the game will get a rant, 30-second rant of his or her choosing. So are we ready to rock and roll? Any questions?
Well,
nope.
Are you asking if we're ready or do we have questions?
Are we ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay, all right. So question number 1. The year is 2017, and the movie name is Snapshot. Snapshot.
B movie.
Porno.
Adam's correct. It's porno. Good job, Adam. It is a porno set up in 2017. Way to go, Adam. Way to know your porn.
That's right.
All right. Yes. The year is 1992. And the title of the film is Double Trouble.
Oh, B movie.
B movie.
You're correct.
Who's
Adam
correct?
got B movie first.
Who?
You both got it correct, but Adam said it first.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Good job, Adam. Way to go. 2,000 points go to Adam. Way to go. That is 1992 film with the two beefy twins.
Yep.
From the Barbarian movie title early in 1987. So fun stuff.
That was the
All
movie
right.
Chicken Bones.
Yes, it was.
I actually know that movie.
Okay, this is where Alison comes back. The year is 2013. The movie is The Obsession.
B movie.
Alison, you want to guess?
Yeah, I would have said B movie.
Okay, both of you are incorrect. It's actually porno with Annabella Danger.
Ooh.
The Obsession. 2013. Annabella Danger. Yes. I had to delete my browsing history after I made this game. I felt guilty. Anyways, so let's go ahead and move on. So that means I get 1,000 points. I am behind Adam, who has 2,000 points, and Alison is still on the board waiting, but she's lurking. So she's going to pounce like Riley. Yeah. All right, let's have some fun with this
You're
one.
not helping me.
The movie is from 1970, and it is Vampire Lovers.
B movie.
All right, I'm going to give you a B movie. Good job. Way to go. Vampire Lovers, 1970s. Way to go, Alison. So you get 1,000 points there. The year is 1962, and the movie title is The Magic Sword.
B movie.
I hope it's a porno.
No, it's a B movie.
Ah.
I love that movie. There's a riff tracks for it.
Way to go, Adam. 3,000 points go to Adam. All right. The year is 1957. The movie title is The Giant Claw. The Giant.
Oh, it's a B movie. It's about a
You're
giant
correct,
bird.
Adam. Yeah, correct.
About a
Way to
what?
go, Adam.
Giant bird.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys kind of see how I try to pick out these movies to throw them off the track a little bit. Yeah. All right.
Giant claw.
The year is 1972. The movie title is Behind the Green Door.
Porno.
I heard Alison. Porno it is. Good job, Alison.
All
2,000
right.
points go to you. Adam has 3. House has 1.
I
Adam has 4.
I want to
Yeah, go
know. I want to know what people outside of Allison's door are just thinking when she just yells out "porno."
Her husband is probably thinking it's going to be a fun night tonight.
There's nobody here but Carter.
Oh.
And what is he watching?
He's I don't know. He's watching something on his iPad.
Is he watching
Artemis.
Artemis Fowl?
Probably.
The German version. Yep. All right, I got 2 more questions, guys. Here we go. The year is 1977. The movie is Barbara Broadcast.
Porno.
You're correct, Adam. Way to go. Porno. Excellent.
I answered that way too quickly.
I like that one. It's a good one. So let's go ahead and shamefully move on to the last one. Adam, pretty much you won this, but I'll give this 1,000,000 points. Whoever gets it gets 1,000,000 points. Let's see. The year is 1977. The movie title is Deathbed, the Bed That Eats.
B movie.
Deathbed, the what?
The bed that
The
eats.
Bed That Eats. Yep.
I still don't hear what you're saying.
It's about a bed that
Bed.
eats people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That was great.
B movie it is. Way to go, Adam. 6,000 points. Well, actually, you got 1,005,000 points. Good job, Adam. Way to
I mean,
go.
we knew Adam was going to win that round because he watches B movies, because that's pretty much all Riff Tracks is B movies.
Yeah.
And I just watch B movies.
Yeah. And if you've ever shaken Adam's hand, you'll know that he has really tight forearms, which makes me think that he knew both aspects of this question very well.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. So, Adam, you get 30 seconds to yourself, my friend.
All right. I don't really have much to say, so I want the world to be a better positive place. I know everybody's in a bad mood right now, including myself, and I want to work on that. So if you're listening or watching this, tell me something really good that's happened in the comments. I want to hear good things about what's going on in your life. I need it. I think everyone else here needs it, and we just need more positivity going on. So my rant is helpful and therapeutic.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. Appreciate it. So I think we're going to go ahead and move towards our main topic, which is B movies. We're not talking porn today, folks. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Before we get into that, I wanted to share something. It's related to the B movie.
Yeah.
Or B movies. I wanted to share the prop thing that our show and tell thing that we've been doing. Today is the 35th anniversary of The Stuff. It is a B movie. It is one of the best B movies out there. Is by Larry Cohen, who did a lot of really B stuff, like God Told Me To, Cue the Winged Serpent, and The Stuff. And this is a really cool prop. It's made out of cardboard and foam. If you can see closely there, that it's like that foam that you use to fix like your air conditioning and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's really shiny. It looks like actual yogurt or whatever the stuff is supposed to be. It's made by Slaughtered Lamb Designs. It's just one guy who does all these like handcrafted horror stuff. And if you like this, he has some really cool other horror stuff on his Etsy shop. He has not given us any type of sponsorship or money or anything. I just told him that I would pimp his stuff out because it's so damn cool. If anyone has seen my living room, you know it's a horror shrine. So it's a good addition to the horror shrine, and it's so good that I wanted to share. So go to Etsy and check out his stuff. It's Slaughtered Lamb Designs. I'll put the link in the description of the video.
Well, Adam, I'm really glad that you said your living room is a horror shrine and not your bedroom. I think that's probably good.
No, my bedroom is a John Hughes shrine.
My bedroom is a John Holmes shrine. So go figure. Let's go ahead and move forward if we can. See what else is popping up. I believe we're talking about the B movies.
Yes.
So
not the Jerry Seinfeld movie.
Yeah, not the Jerry Seinfeld movie. Why don't we go around real quick what we know currently about B movies? Let's start with Alison, and then we'll move on to Adam, and we'll kind of talk more and see what we have. Yeah, what are your thoughts on B movies, Alison?
B movies are movies that are, I don't know, I guess they're kind of, I don't want to say, well, yeah, they're low budget. I guess they can be seen as cheesy, over the top type of stuff. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of B movies. I get dragged to them by Adam when we go to riff tracks. Half of them I've never seen. And then I like them because they're just ridiculous. I'm like, I can't believe somebody actually made this movie. But it's funny, and I think it's made funnier for me because people are riffing them. I don't think I would actually want to sit down and watch them, but I don't know, maybe. I have watched some of them, and they're funny, but they're just, I don't know, they're just like off the wall crazy movies. I guess that's what I think of.
Okay. All right. You usually around Thanksgiving prop up a B movie known as
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Good old Thanksgiving.
Last year, this was her big thing. She goes, Roman, you gotta watch Thanksgiving.
Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you got a couple months.
Someday. Yeah, I will someday. Okay, so Adam. Before we go on to Adam, let me just say thank you very much to our Twitter followers. We posted today what our thoughts on B movies, not only just on our Twitter page at Cinemadness is our handle, but also on our Facebook page. We had a lot of great interactions with our fans who follow us and enjoy us in terms of what they think of with B movies. And a lot of them are basically the same that Alison brought up, where, cheesy but fun films. There was a couple of people who follow us on Twitter says, hey, I actually make B movies. And that was really cool. to see that. So thank you very much. But Adam, an interesting thing about B movies when I was researching this is how it was set up as the second movie on the double feature early on in the 1920s. So speak a little bit more how we evolved to that and how we evolved, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the term B movie goes back to when, like you said, double features. It was technically the B movie. There was the main feature, and then there was the second feature, and it stayed that way. And it helped that the record companies did the same thing. Was they did their A sides of the 45s, and then the B side, and it kind of stuck that way. And then every movie that was involved later on, like the 50s, like from the 50s to today, if it has a lower budget, and if it's not, quote unquote theater quality, but it's still, a fun movie, it's considered a B movie. Mostly the criteria is that it's very low budget. That's basically it. Very low budget, and it helps with popular culture. And I latch on to B movies a lot, mainly because they're mostly horror related. They kind of lean that way, horror and sci-fi, because there's a lot of cheap effects that you can do, and it takes people away. And B movies are kind of like a thing of mine. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah. Whenever you catch B movies, they are such a passion for me because I like to see a different side of creativity. How are you coming across the problem that I've seen the answers by big budget movie studios? How are you, just with your $1,000 or $10,000, whatever, coming up with an entertaining film for 90 minutes,
right,
or however much? And I like the modern versions of B movies as much as I do the older type, campy Ed Wood type of films that you would see where it's just a bunch of friends hanging out making a movie. Maybe it's people that have some friends in the industry, so they're recycling pieces from sets and making it into something very interesting.
Like Sam Raimi.
Yeah, like Sam Raimi. So those type of films, I think, will always have a niche. It's always almost like the off-Broadway, if you will, of modern cinema, where if, for those of you who don't know, if you ever go to Times Square, there's Broadway. That's usually the glitz where you have the major releases. And then you go off-Broadway, literally a couple blocks down, and you'll still see these theater places that are doing these productions, and they're kind of off Broadway. So you'll see more artistic stuff. You'll see more maybe risque productions, if you will. And that's kind of what you can expect from B movies. That's where you kind of have your ginger snaps. That's where you have films that are against the grain. And they tend to do very well. We talked about Dale and Tucker earlier. That's considered a B movie. And maybe you'll see some of our selections on our top list in a few moments here. But question you guys, what's the difference between art and a B movie? An art film, and no, there isn't? Okay.
Well, what I was going to say, there's a fine line between an indie movie and a B movie.
And that's precisely where I want to go to. Alison, what's your take from your perspective? Is there
the difference between an indie movie and a B movie?
Yeah.
I think indie movies try to take themselves seriously. Like, I don't know. They don't have these like over the top things. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Take a movie like Machete or, like the Grindhouse movies. I mean, she had a machine gun on her leg. Like, they know that they're being cheeky and they're being funny and they're being over the top. Like, I don't see like an independent movie that's going into like the movie like art studios that's going to be shown in Tampa Theater as doing something like that. Like, they're actually trying to make more of a, I don't know, I guess I would say more of an artsy film.
But yeah. The problem with like Machete and the Grindhouse movies are these are people with all the money they can spare trying to make a movie that looks like they didn't spend money to make it, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
And
but okay. So, but you can say that about any of the B movies. They're all over the top.
but they're not. But they're all under budget. That's the thing. They don't have the money to spend. And Rodriguez and Tarantino have all the money. They just chose not to make it look like they did.
I think you're going a different angle. I think what Alison was talking about, please correct me if I'm wrong, Alison, please, is films that are kind of, an art film tends to not laugh at itself, whereas a B movie tends to laugh at itself a little bit. Like, the first thing that came to mind was Dolomite, a film that lampoons, in some ways, a very lampoon like movie where it's making fun of the genre of action films and adding its own little social commentary, but also is a fun, enjoyable film. Whereas you take a film that's a little bit more artistic, of Blood and Roses, for example, with Adrian Brody. That's a very artsy film, low budget, but it's very strong. That I think is maybe what Alison was going for. Am I kind of on the same?
Yeah, I mean, like independent movies and like artsy movies, low budget, I immediately think of Clerks. Clerks was made with nothing, but it wasn't made to make fun of itself. It wasn't made to be a B movie. So it's not a B movie to me. It's an independent film that blew up. Okay.
Well,
what?
Oh, that's what I was saying. There's a fine line between B movies.
I agree. B movies, I just automatically associate that with over the top gore, really cheesy special effects, really bad acting, almost like dubbing. Like sometimes they just like, they know that they're not, this isn't the best movie. It's just fun, and they didn't have a lot of money, so that's the difference to me. But there is a fine line.
Okay. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we get into our lists on B movies?
Final thoughts on?
Well, before we get into lists.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do, I mean, there has to be a reason why they always pick B movies to riff. I mean, is it because they're easy? Is it because they know that they're that bad?
Well, yeah, there's a constant stigma on a B movie, with it being cheap and, like you said, over the top. But it's still someone's vision, and I don't know. It gives I enjoy the idea of a B movie over an indie film more, because people don't have any expectations. They just want to put their art out, and they're not out there to win, Spirit Awards or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're gonna get made fun of, but there's also like the group like I am that sees this as, oh, this someone just wanted to get their art made. They wanted to get their crazy story told, and that should be celebrated. And if riffing is an idea, I mean, I fully believe that riffing is, the sincerest form of flattery. I mean, look at what's the Rocky Horror. It's a terrible movie that people absolutely love because they tear it apart and participate in it. And that's kind of the essence of the B movie love, is that you're not going into something, AAA, that you're going to mostly have a good time watching it, and want to watch it again with your friends.
Yeah, like The Room.
Yeah,
I mean,
The Room is a B movie.
That's a perfect example of a B movie that somebody made into a huge success, but he was kind of giving it, props, and then it turned into this huge thing.
Same with Birdemic. James Wen was totally serious about the movie that he was making, and it became so hated and laughed at that it became like one of the top B movies out there.
Okay.
Sharknado is a big B movie franchise.
Yeah,
that was on the list from Pace magazine. All these films that you brought up were on that same list. So yeah, very interesting. It's very interesting to see because B movies, I think, as long as there will be cinema, will always have a place in cinema. As long as there's movies out there, there will always be B movies. The same way that with there's plays, there will always be off-beaten plays that are kind of poorly produced or poorly directed. That art will be there as long as people want to write a story down.
Mm-hmm. And as long as it's recognized as art, then I have no problem with it whatsoever.
I mean, art is really interpretive, really.
Yeah, it's totally subjective.
Yeah. I mean, I could show you a toilet, and you see a toilet, some people go, oh man, that's deep, I get it. And to me, I just see eventual crap.
You know, it's a bed that eats people.
Of course, you know, how heavy do you need? I mean,
right.
I personally want to be in that production room. It's like, I got this awesome script. Ready? Bed that eats people. Boom.
There's one out there now. It's a couch that eats.
It's a couch. I was just about to say that. Isn't there a movie about a couch that eats people?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, as my wife would say right now, Rubber. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me started on Rubber. Rubber is an amazing indie film.
I love Rubber. My wife can't stand it.
Why is that not a B movie?
Because it got released in indie theaters. It got wide released in theaters. It got a ton of awards. The only reason I don't call it a B movie is because it has a lot of recognition as a film itself and not an experience.
Okay, interesting. Then one of the ones on my list you'll probably say is actually more of a movie than a B movie.
Well, I don't know. I've got a pretty open list myself.
Why don't we take this moment to talk about our lists? How about I go first, Alison goes second, then we finish with our heavy hitter, Adam. What do you think?
Okie dokie.
Okay, so my films will go as follows. They're not Shakespeare. Number 3, I got Cannibal the Musical.
I love that movie so much.
Not a lot of people remember it. I absolutely love it. Whenever I made a snowman, I would always go, "Let's build the snowman."
When I worked at the comic book shop, I had the video and I would play it constantly while the store was open because it was a very spadoinkle movie.
Yeah, it's made by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. You guys,
yep.
Yeah, whom you know from South Park.
It was actually made before South Park.
Yeah, and it's just completely out there in terms of it's about cannibals in Colorado, and
it's a true story about Alfred Packer.
Yeah, where they were all on a hike in Colorado, and eventually they ate each other, and they made a musical out of it naturally
with a Cyclops.
With the Cyclops. So really, as you can hear, just based on the brief descriptions, that it's that type of film. I personally loved it. Number 2 is a personal passion, I think, of both Adam and I, VelociPastor.
Oh my God, yes.
This movie.
The best 37 minutes you'll ever spend.
Oh, no. What?
Oh, wait, no, that's Kung Fury. The best hour and 10 minutes you'll ever spend.
Yes. It knows its lane and it stays in its lane the whole time. It's a movie where a pastor becomes like a werewolf, but insert a velociraptor instead of a werewolf. He transforms into this thing. It really is just a fun movie if you just want to relax and just watch something outlandish, but also good in some ways. Watch this film.
I do have to say that the main character, the main actor guy, if he keeps going the way he's going, he'll be the new Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
He's really good at that role. So.
Yeah, he has charisma on it. He has a lot of good things to bring to the table. Finally, Behind the Mask with Leslie Vernon, the Leslie Vernon story. I personally don't think that this is a B movie. We talked about it in pre-meeting. However, my cohorts suggested that I have it there, so any opportunity that I can bring up the name of this film, absolutely will do it 1,000 times over. It's so worth it. I don't think it's being campy. I don't think of it as being a B movie. I think it's a great horror movie and a great addition to the horror genre. But that's just me. That's my take. Any thoughts before we move on to Ms. Allison?
Yeah, Behind the Mask, I only consider it a B movie just for the technical reason why it would be a B movie. It was very low budget, and it was made on, you know, like a shoestring cast and crew. And the fact that they made it so damn good, and that it didn't have to be released directed video, but it did, and that's another reason it was a B movie. Gives it the clout that it deserves to be up there with the Freddys and Jasons.
Yeah. If Alison, have you ever seen that film Behind the Mask?
Nope.
It's on Shudder.
I feel like I don't need to because I've heard it so much from both of you.
If you like horror movies, you have to watch this.
Yeah, it's like
Speaking of Shudder, most B movies are on Shudder.
Shudder's a great service.
The greatness of Zombievers. I think we need to also bring Zombievers up 1,000 times.
Are those zombie beavers?
Yeah, Zombievers.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Zombievers, zombie strippers.
Yes, zombie strippers.
With Jenna Jameson.
Yeah. Robert Englund's in Zombie Strippers. Yeah. You mentioned Bill Barr earlier. He's actually in Zombievers. So
yeah, he's in Zombievers.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and talk about your list, Allison, if you don't mind.
I don't really have a list. Let me just name off some. I guess I would say, well, Evil Dead is like B movie, right?
Yeah, it was a B movie. Now it's considered, cinema. It's weird.
I know.
Yeah, I still consider it technically a B movie.
And I also consider Tremors a B movie.
Okay.
I don't know. That seems kind of cheesy and
budget.
Huh?
B movie. That's a hell of a big budget B movie.
Yeah.
I think it was low budget. The first one was low budget, wasn't it?
No, the others were low budget.
Oh. I would pick Manos as a B movie.
Mm-hmm. The Hands of Fate.
That's a really, really scary, messed up movie. It's not scary, it just freaks me out. Have you seen that movie, Roman?
No.
The second one's on Amazon right now.
It's I don't even know where to begin with this movie. It's so bad. So bad. I don't know. I had another one, but I forgot it. I don't know.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Adam, do you have any takes on her list?
Yeah, I love Manos. It was considered the worst movie ever made until The Room came out. They made a prequel on Amazon and they made a sequel on Amazon, and they're both worse than the original movie because they tried to keep the campiness involved, and with it being a 60s movie, trying to do it in 2019, 2020, it just did not work.
And it's called Manos?
Manos.
As
like Manos in Spanish, because it's the hand of fate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does Manos become Manos?
Because we're America and they don't know how to say anything, and the movie's made in Texas, so.
Coño Carajo.
Birdemic is pretty bad too.
Coño Carajo.
Oh boy, Coño Carajo. Anyways, all right. Thank you very much. Adam, dime, tell me.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have to pick 3 out of the 12 that I picked.
Oh my God.
Number 3, I would have to go Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Oh yes.
Terribly under budget. Terribly made. It's basically the first movie as a flashback, and then all of a sudden we get Garbage Day, and then the movie's over, and that's my number 3. My number 2, Basket Case, is a really, really strange horror movie about a guy who has a conjoined twin, but it's just this like just a hunk of meat with arms and a face, and he gets it cut off, but he doesn't want to kill it, so he keeps it in a little basket.
That sounds disgusting.
And he wants to live like his brother, but he's not allowed out of the basket, so he starts running amok, and it's just a crazy movie. It is disgusting. There's a sex scene involving the other brother. He's just like a lump sitting on a woman, just kind of like writhing and grinding. And my number one, is like I chose before, is The Stuff, movie about killer yogurt, or killer ice cream. I don't know. They keep it in the freezer and they keep it in the fridge. So
it looks like fluff to me, marshmallow fluff.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to look like it's coming out and coming alive, like.
I always thought it was yogurt in my head, like whenever they were eating it, because they make the reference when the kid eats the shaving cream.
The shaving cream, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you're not the first person to ever eat shaving cream.
Maybe it's Activia.
Yeah. But
I feel so regulated now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because it actually shows how the consumer products are just like, companies are like, oh, well, it's edible and people like it. We're not going to do any research on it, so just eat it. And it's kind of a social commentary on that. But it's a fun movie. I loved it when I was a kid. I rent it from the video store constantly. So it's one of my favorite B movies. And for my consideration, my other number one would have been Return of the Living Dead. The parody of Night of the Living Dead, parody of all of the Romero movies. It's such a great movie. It has great memorable things, and it's also the first time zombies ate brains.
Yeah.
Made in 1984. Written by Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien.
I just like how the splatterpunks, their names, it was like death and knives and just evil stuff. And it's
it was the most 80s movie ever for a B movie.
Yeah. We're in a gang now. I'm going to name your name. You're going to be Nice. Or Nice, depending on. That's a nice name.
Did you say your name was Nice?
Yeah, that's from Back to the Beach.
Yeah. Excellent. But that's really all we got today. How about, I know we only have about a minute left, I think, unless we need more time. But how about we do some plugs and where can we find, and then we'll say goodbye.
Well, we're always available on Facebook at Cinemadness. We're on Instagram at Cinemadness Podcast. Twitter, Cinemadness P. I don't know what was our Cinemadness at Yahoo. Is that our email address that no one uses?
Cinemadness Podcast at Yahoo.
Cinemadness Podcast at Yahoo. And always you can check us out on our brand new website at cinemadnesspodcast.com.
Yes.
Also, like and subscribe to our video on YouTube right here or up there or wherever it is. And if you want to listen to us, follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.
Excellent. Alison, send us away, dear.
Oh, good night.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Conyo carajo.